The bar chart illustrates passenger preferences for different international air routes. The highest preference is for LA to Tokyo, at 90%, followed by NY to London at 85% and SF to Sydney at 80%. NY to Paris accounts for 75%, while Boston to Berlin has the lowest preference, at 70%. Overall, Louisiana to Tokyo is the most preferred air route, whereas Boston to Berlin is the least preferred among the 5 routes. The line graph illustrates traffic flow throughout the day, measured by the number of vehicles at different times. At 6 a.m., traffic is the highest at 900 vehicles, and it decreases to 750 vehicles at 9 a.m. The figure then drops sharply to its lowest point of 120 vehicles at 12 p.m. After that, traffic rises to 350 vehicles at 3 p.m. and 380 vehicles at 6 p.m. At 9 p.m., traffic increases significantly to 850 vehicles, before falling to 600 vehicles at 12 a.m. and finally reaching 250 vehicles at 3 a.m. Overall, traffic is highest at 6 a.m., while the lowest level is recorded at 12 p.m. The pie chart illustrates the sales distribution of different video game genres. Action games have the largest share at 40%, followed by RPG games at 20% and sports games at 15%. Adventure games and other genres each account for 10%, while strategy games have the smallest share at 5%. Overall, action is the most popular video game genre, whereas strategy has the lowest sales share. The flowchart illustrates the process of washing hands properly. First, the hands are wet with clean water. Next, soap is applied to the hands. After that, both palms are rubbed together to create lather. In the fourth step, the areas between the fingers are cleaned carefully. Then, the hands are rinsed thoroughly with water. Finally, the hands are dried completely. Overall, the flowchart presents a simple 6-step process for keeping hands clean and hygienic. The table presents the monthly sales of 4 different shades from January to June. In January, Shade 1 recorded the highest sales at 4,500 units, while Shade 2 had the lowest at 1,600 units. In February, Shade 4 had the highest sales at 6,754 units. In March, Shade 3 reached 9,768 units, which was the highest figure for that month. In April, Shade 3 again recorded the highest sales at 9,008 units. In May, Shade 4 had the highest sales at 7,865 units, while in June, it recorded 6,547 units. Overall, Shade 3 performed particularly well in March and April, whereas the lowest figure in the table was 1,600 units for Shade 2 in January. The map illustrates the global distribution of GDP in different countries and regions. The USA has a GDP of approximately $26.9 trillion, while China has around $17.7 trillion. Europe accounts for about $18.6 trillion, and India has approximately $3.7 trillion. Brazil has around $2.1 trillion, while Russia has approximately $2.0 trillion. The map uses different colors to represent GDP levels, with warmer colors indicating higher GDP. Overall, the USA, China, and Europe have the highest GDP levels, whereas many countries in Africa and other regions have comparatively lower GDP. The image presents 6 different sports in a colorful layout. The sports shown are swimming, badminton, football, cricket, basketball, and tennis. Each sport is represented by a separate illustration and label, making the image clear and easy to understand. The sports are arranged in 2 rows with 3 activities in each row. Overall, the image provides a simple visual representation of various popular sports. The chart illustrates the business economy from 2008 to 2017, showing operating income, equity, and the equity ratio. Operating income increased from 2,400 billion Icelandic kroner in 2008 to 4,200 billion Icelandic kroner in 2017. Similarly, equity rose from 800 billion Icelandic kroner to 3,000 billion Icelandic kroner during the same period. The equity ratio also showed an overall upward trend, increasing from 12% in 2008 to 42% in 2017. There was a slight decline in operating income in 2013, but it increased again afterward. Overall, all 3 indicators showed significant growth, with the equity ratio reaching its highest level in 2017. The image shows a beautiful mountain landscape with a peaceful lake. In the background, there are tall, snow-covered mountains surrounded by green forests. The sky is filled with bright clouds and warm sunlight. On the left side, several wooden cabins can be seen among the trees. A long wooden bridge stretches across the lake and connects the 2 sides. The calm water creates a clear reflection of the mountains, trees, cabins, and sky. Overall, the scene presents a peaceful, scenic, and relaxing natural environment. The line graph illustrates monthly sales revenue from January to December 2024. Sales revenue started at $20,000 in January and increased to $25,000 in February. It then fell slightly to $22,000 in March, before rising to $28,000 in April and $35,000 in May. In June, the figure decreased to $32,000, but it then increased steadily to $40,000 in July and $45,000 in August. After a small decline to $42,000 in September, sales rose to $48,000 in October and reached the highest point of $52,000 in November. Finally, it decreased slightly to $50,000 in December. Overall, the graph shows an upward trend in sales revenue despite a few fluctuations.